Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to explore some really compelling sources, looking for insights that genuinely resonate today.
Mhm.
And today, yeah, we're diving into pretty fascinating collection of ancient wisdom texts. We're aiming to unpack some timeless perspectives on, human nature and the path to liberation.
That's right. And our sources for this deep dive, they come from a really rich ancient tradition. We're specifically drawing from texts that get into relationships, societal views, some quite unique life experiences, and also these universal philosophical principles.
Yeah.
And these aren't just, dry historical documents. They're presented as quite vibrant dialogues and teachings, often attributed to the Buddha himself, or discussions between figures like Venerable Sariputta and this wanderer Jambukhādaka.
Right. So our mission today really is to pull out the most important, let's say, nuggets of knowledge from these conversations. We'll be looking at how people back then viewed human relationships, the specific experiences of men and women, and then finally digging into this profound sort of universal path towards inner understanding. You can probably expect some surprising facts, maybe some insights that offer a real shortcut to, well, being well-informed about these timeless ideas.
Definitely.
So let's unpack this. Where should we start?
Well, how about we begin with something pretty universal? Attraction and aversion.
Okay, yeah.
These ancient texts, they offer a very direct, almost like a checklist, breakdown of what makes men and women appealing or, unappealing to each other.
Their checklist, really.
Yeah, pretty much. So one text, the Mātugāmasaṃyuttaṃ, it identifies 5 specific characteristics that apparently made a woman disagreeable to a man back then.
Okay, what were they?
Well, not being beautiful, not being wealthy, not being virtuous, being lazy, and being unable to bear children.
Okay, pretty direct.
Very. And then, conversely, the agreeable woman possessed the opposite traits. So being beautiful, wealthy, virtuous, diligent, and able to bear children.
Right, but here's where it gets really interesting, isn't it? There's this twist.
Exactly. Another text, the Purus Sassunta, it basically turns the mirror right around.
Yeah.
It lists the exact same 5 characteristics for men.
The exact same.
Yep. To be disagreeable to a woman, a man would be seen as, well, not beautiful, not wealthy, not virtuous, lazy, and unable to bear children.
Wow.
And to be agreeable, beautiful, wealthy, virtuous, diligent, and, yes, able to bear children.
It's quite striking, that symmetry. I mean, wealth, beauty, virtue, diligence, fertility for both sides.
It truly is. It presents this almost, you could say, transactional view of attraction, doesn't it? Where traits like wealth and fertility are right there alongside virtue.
Yeah.
It suggests perhaps a very raw, pragmatic baseline for mutual appeal, maybe reflecting a societal focus on, continuation, stability.
Or than just individual emotional connection, perhaps.
Possibly, yeah. It certainly makes you think about how much of this, if any, still resonates in modern relationships, despite all the changes.
That definitely gives us a sense of that mutual appeal, that baseline. But what about the unique experiences? And you mentioned powers attributed specifically to women in these texts. It sounds like a picture that's both, well, challenging and maybe surprisingly empowering.
It is, yeah. There's one text, the Avejgadukastut, which explicitly unpacks 5 unique sufferings of women. Things stated as, not generally experienced by men.
Okay, like what?
Things like leaving their own family to live with their husband's family, menstruation, pregnancy, childbirth, and also serving or caring for her husband or the head of the household.
Right, so very specific physical and societal burdens highlighted there.
Exactly. But then, after discussing these, let's call them sufferings, another text, the Balavaggo, pivots.
Ah, okay.
It lists 5 distinct powers of women.
Powers, what kind of powers?
Beauty, wealth, relatives like having a strong family network, children, and virtue.
Beauty, wealth, relatives, children, virtue. Okay.
And it even suggests that a woman possessing these powers would feel, confident in her home and could even, the text says, overcome or prevail over her husband.
Okay, overcome her husband. How do we square that with the societal burdens mentioned earlier? What does overcome really mean here?
That's a great question, and it really shows the layers, doesn't it? While a woman's powers might give her influence within the household, the texts present a really crucial counterpoint. A man possessing just one power, which they call sovereignty or authority.
Authority, right.
He could overcome a woman. And in that situation, none of her 5 powers, not beauty, wealth, relatives, children, or even her virtue, could fully protect her from his authority.
So it's not just about having these powers, but how they kind of interact with the broader societal structures.
Precisely. And what's really emphasized, what stands out across these texts, is the overarching importance of virtue. Solopala. The texts explicitly say that a woman lacking virtue, even if she had beauty, wealth, relatives, or children, she wouldn't be sort of tolerated in a family.
Right.
But conversely, a woman with virtue, even if she lacked the other four powers, she would be accepted.
That really does put a spotlight on inner qualities.
It does, and it highlights how these ancient observations, despite their historical context, offer this kind of timeless perspective. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, how much that emphasis on inner qualities like virtue still resonates today.
Yeah, regardless of societal shifts.
And crucially, the texts make a very strong claim. Only virtue, silabala, ultimately leads a woman to a good destiny after death. Not beauty, not wealth, not relatives, not even children, just virtue.
That certainly underscores the idea of cause and effect, doesn't it? Your actions, your character, having consequences.
Absolutely.
And that sets the stage perfectly, I think, for maybe the most profound part of this deep dive. This idea of a universal path to liberation, to understanding reality itself.
Yep.
We're sort of shifting now to a more philosophical discussion, drawing from those dialogues you mentioned earlier between Venerable Sariputta and Jambukhādaka.
That's right, the Jambukhādaka saṃyuttaṃ.
And what seems really remarkable here, from what I understand, is the incredible consistency in the solution offered for all these different existential challenges.
Indeed. It's quite striking. These conversations, they often start with Jambukhādaka asking Sariputta about fundamental concepts, basic questions.
Right.
Like, what is Nibbana?
Yeah.
That state of profound peace and freedom. Or, what makes someone an arahant, a fully enlightened being?
And the answer.
For both, the definition given is the complete cessation, the ending of greed, hatred, and delusion.
Greed, hatred, and delusion, the root problem.
Exactly. And then when Jambukhādaka asks, well, who are the speakers of the Dhamma, the teachers? The answer is those who teach the abandonment of that same greed, hatred, and delusion.
Okay, so there's a clear target there. What about the purpose of, say, the holy life itself?
According to these texts, its purpose is for the complete understanding of suffering, dukkha.
Understanding suffering. And they talk about comfort too, right?
Yes, comfort and even supreme comfort. These are described as being achieved by truly understanding the arising, the passing away, the danger, and the escape from what are called the six sense bases.
The sense bases. So eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, how we experience the world.
Precisely. Understanding how that works, the texts say, leads to liberation, freedom from attachment, and clinging.
Okay. And you mentioned a pattern emerging here.
A very clear pattern. For numerous fundamental concepts, Jambukhādaka asks Sariputta, what is this, and how does one understand or abandon it?
Okay, give us some examples.
Sure. So things like the three kinds of feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, neither pleasant nor unpleasant, or the three main taints or defilements, the asava, sensual desire, the desire for becoming or continued existence, and ignorance.
Ignorance itself.
Yes, and ignorance, avijja, is defined specifically as not knowing suffering, its origin, its cessation, and the path to its cessation.
Right. The Four Noble Truths, essentially.
Embedded right there. And the pattern continues. The three kinds of craving, taicca, sensual craving, craving for becoming, craving for non-becoming. The four floods, or upadana. Sensual pleasure, becoming, views, ignorance. The four kinds of clinging, upadana. Clinging to sensual pleasures, to views, to rites and rituals, to a doctrine of self.
Wow, it's comprehensive.
It really is. Even the three kinds of existence, bhava, sensual, form, formless. The three kinds of suffering, dukkha suffering is pain, suffering due to conditioned existence, suffering due to change, and even our very sense of self-view, sakkaya-ditthi, which is identified with the five clinging aggregates, form, feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness.
Okay, so a whole range of human experience, mental states, philosophical concepts.
Exactly. Deep stuff.
And what's the truly remarkable part, the aha moment you mentioned?
The aha moment is that for every single one of these concepts we just listed, understanding feelings, overcoming taints, dealing with craving, letting go of clinging, understanding existence, suffering, even the nature of self.
Yes.
The path to understanding it, or abandoning it, or liberating oneself from it, is explicitly stated every single time as the Noble Eightfold Path.
The same path for every...
The exact same path. It's presented as the universal method.
So Just to recap that path: right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration.
That's the one. The texts don't offer different solutions for different problems here. It's this one integrated path.
That is profound.
And the text even acknowledges, the difficulty of the journey. It says entering the monastic life is difficult, being content within it is difficult, practicing the Dhamma correctly is difficult.
Right, it's not presented as easy.
Not at all. Yet it offers this really encouraging insight.
Yeah.
A monk who practices diligently in this way doesn't take long, it says, to become an arahant, a fully awakened being.
So despite the challenges, the path is effective and the goal attainable.
That's the message.
Yeah.
This profound consistency, this comprehensive nature of the framework, addressing all these fundamental human conditions with a singular, universal path to liberation. That's just incredibly powerful when you see it laid out like that.
Yeah, it really is. So, okay, let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for us listening today? We've journeyed through these ancient texts. We've looked at everything from what made people agreeable to each other way back then.
Mm-hmm. Those lists of 5 qualities.
Right, to the unique challenges and even the societal powers attributed to women. And then that clear moral framework about actions and consequences, virtue being key.
Exactly. And then we really dove into that profound philosophical core, didn't we? Discovering how this single consistent path, the Noble Eightfold Path, is presented time and again as the universal solution.
The solution for understanding reality and liberating oneself from suffering from attachment.
Right, it's all interconnected.
So these ancient wisdom texts, they really offer this powerful lens, don't they? A way to examine human nature, our purpose, providing clarity and insights that kind of remarkably still feel relevant.
They really do seem to tap into something fundamental about the human condition.
So maybe here's a final thought to leave with everyone listening. Consider this. How might understanding these timeless principles, whether they're about the dynamics of our relationships, or cultivating personal virtues like integrity and wisdom, or even just grasping this idea of a universal path to inner peace, how might that understanding empower you to navigate the complexities of your own life, your own relationships, even today?
That's a great question to reflect on. How does this ancient map apply to our modern journey?
Exactly. Something to think about.